The graveyard shift is a lonely gig. Midnight to 6 a.m. No co-host. No audience except for truckers, insomniacs, and people too wired on caffeine or too strung out to sleep. I'd fill the silence with my own voice, songs on rotation, the occasional call-in. But that night, the silence filled itself. The first call came at 1:13 a.m. Static hissed, then a man's voice. "Do you hear it? The night has teeth." I waited for more, but the line went dead. No click, no goodbye, just silence. Creepy, sure, but not the weirdest I've heard. At 3:13 a.m., the phone rang again. Same line, same voice, same delivery, like he was reading from a script, word for word. I sat there staring at the blinking red light on the phone. Something in my gut told me to check the call log. The origin of the call, EXT, archives. That didn't make sense. Our archives had been abandoned years ago, old tape machines and boxes of records collecting dust. Sealed off because no one bothered to clean it out. No phone line in there anymore. At least there shouldn't have been. I decided to kill the music and take a walk. The building was dead quiet, the kind of silence that presses on your skull. My sneakers squeaked on the linoleum as I made my way down the hall. The archives door stood ajar. I pushed it open and nearly gagged on the dust. The smell of mildew and magnetic tape hung in the air. Rows of shelves sagged under the weight of forgotten reels, and in the corner, one of the old reel-to-reel machines was spinning. I leaned closer, and I swear this is true. My own voice came out of the speakers, not from a recording, my live broadcast, delayed by a few seconds. I could hear the song I'd just played, my same offhand comment about the weather. But underneath it, there was something else, a whisper, faint at first, then sharper, clearer. Elliot Moore. My full name. I never used my last name on air. Elliot Moore. At 5:47 a.m., your throat will open like a second mouth. You will not see the sunrise. The words crawled inside me like ice water. I yanked the power cord from the wall. The machine kept spinning, tape squealing, reels turning, whisper grinding out of the static. Now pay attention to this. I bolted back to the booth, slammed the door, locked it. My hands shook as I went live, trying to play it off, trying to sound normal. But the whispers bled into my headphones, cutting through the music, filling the dead air. At 4:13 a.m., the phone rang again. I didn't answer. At 5:13, it rang once more. Same line. I ripped the cord out of the wall. The light still blinked. Now it's 5:40. My shift is almost over, but the whisper hasn't stopped. It's louder, clearer, breathing in time with me. I'm writing this between songs, because maybe if someone finds it, they'll know what happened. The whisper's right in my ear now, counting down. 6 minutes, 5. And the funny thing is, I can already feel it, my throat tightening, stretching from the inside. I don't think the whisper's lying. Night shifts at the hospital have their own rhythm. The daytime chaos gives way to silence. Just the squeak of my mop across linoleum, the occasional intercom crackle, and the distant hum of machines. I've worked here long enough to know every hallway, every flickering light, every draft. But room 6 doesn't belong. They sealed it years ago, after a fire damaged the wing. The door's always locked, lights out, the number plate dulled with age. Still, every time I push my cart past it, I feel like someone's watching from behind that door. Tonight, the lock was broken. I stopped short, my cart rattling to a halt. The door stood slightly ajar, faint light bleeding into the hallway. My first thought was that maintenance had finally come through, but something about the glow, too cold, too steady, made my chest tighten. I should have kept walking. Instead, I leaned in and pushed the door wider. The room looked untouched by time. Sterile white walls, a single bed in the center, and a patient, upright, hooked to a monitor. The monitor showed a flat line, just one unbroken green line across the screen, yet it beat in steady rhythm, each tone sharp enough to make my teeth ache. The patient didn't move. I stepped closer, the mop handle clenched in my hand like a weapon. My eyes adjusted to the dim glow, and the details sharpened, the gown hanging loose, the IV drip empty, the pale hands resting on the sheets. Then the head turned, and I was staring at myself. Same face, same uniform, even the same tired circles under the eyes. My breath hitched, fogging in the cold room. I staggered back, nearly tripping over my cart. When I blinked, it was gone. No bed, no patient, no light. The door had vanished too, just an unbroken wall where room 6 had been. I stood frozen, heart pounding in my throat, and then I heard it. Beep, the same steady tone from the monitor, except now it wasn't in the room, it was in the hall. I spun around. The corridor stretched empty, doors closed, lights buzzing. Still beep, closer. I pushed my cart faster, mop buckets sloshing water onto the tiles. My shoes squeaked as I turned corner after corner, but the sound followed me, never fading. Beep, beep, beep. The rhythm was wrong. It wasn't random anymore. It matched the pounding in my chest. I ducked into the supply closet, slammed the door shut, and pressed my back against it. My breath came in short bursts. But the closet wasn't silent. The beeping was inside with me. The dim light above flickered. On the metal shelves, glass cleaner bottles and bleach swayed, as though disturbed by a vibration I couldn't feel. I clamped my hands over my ears, but it didn't matter. The sound was in my head now, drilling into me with every beat of my pulse. And then I realized it wasn't a flat line anymore. The rhythm was changing, building, like a countdown. And when it hit 0, I know I won't just hear the sound. I'll be the one making it. The diner always smelled like burnt coffee and fryer oil, even at 2 in the morning. My shift was dead quiet. No truckers, no drunks, not even the regular who chain smoked outside. Just me, the hum of the fluorescent lights, and the hiss of the fryer. I grabbed my notepad to restock the pie case and headed to the walk-in freezer. The moment I stepped inside, the chill punched through my thin uniform. My breath fogged, curling in front of me as I pushed aside boxes of frozen fries and bags of peas. I just needed one cheesecake, nothing complicated. The metal door swung shut behind me. With its usual clank, I reached back to push it open, except the handle didn't move. I tried again, harder this time. Nothing. "Come on," I muttered, jiggling it. The door stayed sealed. I slammed my palm against it, calling out, "Hey, someone out there?" My voice bounced off the shelves, swallowed by the freezer's hum. Nobody answered. A gnawing cold seeped through my shoes. I pounded harder, the sound echoing hollow and desperate. After a long moment of silence, I heard it. Knock, knock, from inside the wall. I froze, my hand still pressed against the door. Slowly, I backed up, staring at the frost-caked steel panels. The sound came again, faint but deliberate, 2 knocks in rhythm with my own pounding. "No way," I whispered. The frost had thickened near the back corner of the freezer, the metal sweating ice. Something darker showed beneath the thin sheet of white. I scraped at it with my fingernail until my skin burned from the cold. The frost flaked away, and there it was, a handprint. Not mine, not on the surface, pressed from the other side. My chest tightened. The freezer's hum seemed louder, vibrating in my skull. I backed away, but the knocking followed, harder now, like fists slamming against the metal. I pressed my ear to the wall, heart hammering. The knocks came again, thud, 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 and then shifted into a rhythm, my rhythm, perfectly synced with the frantic beat of my heart. "No, no, no," I gasped, clawing at the door handle, until my nails split. It wouldn't budge. My lungs burned, the air too cold to drag in fast enough. But it gets crazier. The knocks grew furious, rattling the shelves. Boxes tumbled to the floor around me. The sound wasn't behind one wall anymore. It was all around, circling, multiplying, hands everywhere. I stumbled back until my spine hit the door, staring at the steel closing in. Frost crept down the panels in streaks like veins, spreading with every slam. Then the knocking stopped. The silence roared. I could hear nothing but the ragged rasp of my breathing. And then, a hiss. The kind of hiss you hear when someone drags in air too close to your ear. Slow, inhumanly steady. It wasn't coming from the walls anymore. It was right behind me. I didn't turn. I couldn't. The air grew colder still, like a mouth opening against the back of my neck. My last thought before the darkness pressed in was that maybe the freezer wasn't broken at all. Maybe it had been locked for a reason. Thanks for listening. Now close your eyes and sleep.